Disclaimer. At Two Addicts and a Moron, we discuss personal stories of addiction with the intention of being educational, relatable, and inspirational. The views and experiences shared are those of individuals involved, are not meant to glorify or condone any illegal or harmful behavior. This content is for educational purposes only and is not intended as professional advice. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, we strongly encourage you seek help from a qualified professional or support service. All right. We're back, everybody.
Yes, sir.
We're back.
We are back to another episode of Two Addicts and a Moron. Thank you so much for joining us today. Trying to do my Mr. Rogers thing. You know.
Fuck Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't even know who Mr. Rogers is. Who are we talking about?
Won't you be my neighbor?
You know him.
You know Mr. Rogers.
He's pivotal.
No, dude, he did like a show. Get your fucking life together and watch Mr. Rogers, dude.
Okay.
You learn so much.
You know it. You know it from childhood.
Yeah,
There's no way you don't.
It was like
It's like seminal to development.
Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers.
He was on Sesame Street?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, Tom Hanks played him in a movie recently.
I'm really not a big Tom Hanks fan.
Shut up, dude. We're I'm gonna sit you down and watch every Tom Hanks movie, and then
I didn't say he's not a good actor. I'm just not a big fan.
And then we're gonna binge watch Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
And
You'll love Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers is cool, dude.
Don't let the Tom Hanks part fool you.
He's not that funny.
No.
No. He's just like so kind.
Yeah, he's just a nice dude.
Is he still alive?
No.
Oh.
No.
Sorry.
He's been dead for a while.
Sorry, Mr. Rogers.
Anyway, we're back to another episode of Two Addicts and a Moron. And we have a very special guest in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Devin, everybody. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah. I'm excited to be here.
So I know you were a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous now.
Yeah. This is your first podcast you're ever doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in, and you'll forget all of these lights and cameras and microphones are here in just a moment.
Okay.
I promise you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What was, you struggled in addiction?
Yes, totally.
And how long did you do that for?
Do you want me to just start from the beginning?
No. So let's start with this.
Let's start with this. Okay, what
was your DOC?
My drug of choice was alcohol, but I've done every drug.
Yeah.
I feel like most people who struggle in addiction, they always set this limit for themselves. They're like, this is the only place I'm going to. And then the limit always gets pushed back further and further. And that's kind of like the essence of the problem.
Sure. Well, truth be told, that question it gets broadened because a lot of people are like, well, what point in my life and what point in my addiction? Because it was so many different things, right? They would go through waves. It's very rarely that somebody sits there and they're like this guy, they're just like, nope, just a meth.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've talked about this where you push the goalpost.
Yeah.
Or bring it closer to you.
Yeah.
Because in my beginning of my addiction, there's 99 things that I won't do for drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's 80 things that I won't do for drugs. And at the end, there was maybe 3 things that I wouldn't do for drugs.
Yeah. And if
I would have kept going,
I
might have been selling the for drugs.
Well, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Wouldn't have made no money. Him again? Fuck.
So alcohol is a very it's a tricky one to me.
Because it's everywhere.
Exactly. Well, that's just it, and it's socially
it's so
acceptable.
normalized. Yeah.
It's socially acceptable. If you popped open a beer right here, right now, everybody in the audience, maybe our audience, would be like, "Oh, what are they doing?"
Happening?
Yeah, but I was saying, maybe you go out on the porch and you have a 6-pack of beer and you drink the whole thing, get hammered drunk. And nobody's going to bat an eye at you.
Dating culture, it's super normal to drink. Everyone wants to meet for a drink.
Right.
Austin is a big drinking city as well.
Well, yeah, it's just I don't know how many times this gets, you don't drink? Why? And you're like.
Yeah. Well, I think it's super important to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that painstaking honesty is really important in sobriety.
Sure.
Also being discerning is important. So not everybody needs to know your whole story. Not everybody needs to know I did 2C in the jungle of Costa Rica. But they can know I don't drink because I'm sober, and if they really press the issue, then Well, because I'm an alcoholic, I went to rehab.
Yeah. Well, I guess I said that more for the point of like, I feel like, and Rachel said this, normalize not asking someone why.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And that's.
Oh my God. Why? Why do you not?
Yeah. Why do you not?
It's almost like there's something wrong with you. Well, if you go out with friends after work and they don't know that you're sober and you're like, oh no, I'm good. And they're like, why don't you drink? Well, because
I would venture even though that someone who really presses that might have an issue themselves.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
people who don't have an issue don't care. They're not paying attention to what you're doing. They're like, okay, drink or don't, whatever.
Yeah.
And they move on.
Yeah.
I think people who are really like bristled by that, I think maybe there's an underlying issue there. For them.
Maybe they want insight too.
Yeah,
like maybe they have that issue.
Yeah, you have to, again, read the room, know your audience.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
See what angle they're coming from.
For sure. So how long were you in the fight for?
I mean, I feel like there were 3 like really bad years. I would say that I displayed alcoholic tendencies essentially my whole life, beginning in college. But at that point, you're young, you know, not everyone, but many people are blacking out. Like people can very much, again, normalize your behavior.
It's college, right?
It's college.
Again, it's like, that's what you do
The
at
essence
college.
of partying. Yeah, exactly. Like this is your time to shine. Like we're all going to go to these frat parties. We're all going to have like nights we don't remember, you know, even there's like songs like that, like whatever. But yeah, really, so I've kind of like lived everywhere. I've done a bunch of things in my life, but I went to school in Rhode Island, then I lived in New York for a long time, lived in Denmark for a year, and then I moved to Austin. And that was 12 years ago. And when I was living here throughout that time, I was modeling. So I was doing commercial and commercial print modeling. And also I was traveling with the auto show, going to a bunch of different auto shows. I was on a team. I was whatever. And that culture, there's a lot of addiction within that culture. But also, I mean, essentially there would be times when I would be getting paid to go party. So they'd be like, oh, we're opening such and such. Come host this thing. Guest model Devin. I say a few words and then I get to go drink in the corner.
Right.
And so I lived here for about 6 years. And at the end of that 6 years, I went through a really tough breakup. And at that point, I would say is when my drinking like got super out of control. But in that space, I still had so many friends. So I was still living here in Austin and I would go out, I would be ridiculous, but I just knew so many people and so many people had my best interest that I was always safe, you know? So I'd always get home. In my mind, I'm like, oh, this is
cool.
Yeah, exactly. So then I end up moving to Oklahoma City. I moved there originally to help my grandma. She was doing her cancer treatments in Oklahoma City. And then I kind of got stuck there during COVID. And that's the time when everything became very apparent to me. Like I was very unhappy. And I'm not blaming the unhappiness because I would drink in times of happiness. I would drink in times of sorrow. I would drink in all the time for any reason, but I was alone. And so that's when it became very clear, like, okay, this is an issue. And one night I injured myself. I injured myself pretty badly. I woke up and this whole side of my face was black and blue. Oof. My car was on 3 wheels outside of a mattress firm parking lot.
Oh no.
My phone was broken and I was about 20 pounds thinner. And I woke up from that and I was like looking at myself in the mirror, shaking. And I feel like I had a true step 1 and 2 experience in that moment. It was my own voice, but I heard myself say, so I had a thought. I had the most concise, clear thought I'd ever had. And it was, you have to go to rehab. And I really felt that I was on the precipice of something irrevocable. Like I could tell that it was going to end not good.
Yeah.
And so I got on my computer because my phone was broken.
Yeah.
And I reached out to my parents and I reached out to my siblings. I'm very close with both my brothers. And it was just like, hey, you know, this thing isn't going well. And I think I need to go to rehab. And also at that time, I feel like once I made the decision, like the entire universe basically conspired in my favor to help me. So I reached out to a girl I knew from New York who had also been to rehab. she put me in touch with the rehab locator. And yeah, I made the decision to go to rehab outside of Fredericksburg and Kerrville.
So is there goalposts moving for you in drinking as well? Like it would.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I want to talk about that as well. I mean, I guess a silly question, I guess a little bit, because I feel like all addicts do that or will end up doing that. But I mean, did it start off with a little bit to drink, or maybe a couple days a week, and then it went, or weekends?
I was always like a big wine drinker, and I always felt like that was very sophisticated. And I dated men and was in long-term relationships with men who knew a lot about wine, and we'd go to these nice dinners and we'd drink wine. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, this is just what like fancy people do.
Yeah.
And I loved Prosecco and I loved all those things. And definitely, I can't remember I think probably when I was living in Austin and I was in that long-term relationship that was pretty tumultuous, we would drink wine a lot at home. And then I kind of just carried that over when we broke up, and I'm not blaming him in any sense, but that was definitely something that we did together. And then I got very comfortable just like drinking wine at home. And towards the end, yeah, I think I would drink, I mean, maybe sometimes 3 bottles a night. And then
it's a lot of wine.
Yeah,
that's a lot
for sure. And then my goalpost, I think, was probably like straight vodka. Like I was always like, I'm not gonna drink like straight vodka. I don't know why that like sounded so crazy to me, but yeah. In the end, I would like drink vodka when I woke up.
Wow. So
probably not. I mean, that part didn't last that long, I'll be honest, because it all just like came crashing down pretty freaking quick. But yeah, I think those like last 2 weeks of well, also once I made the decision to go to rehab, it was around my birthday. And I was like, all right, last hurrah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you went and got hammered.
Let's go out with a bang.
Yeah.
And my parents actually ended up, so I was supposed to drive myself to rehab. Like I did all the things on my own. Like I paid for rehab myself, which is great. I think it holds a lot of accountability, and I'm like super proud of myself that I made that decision.
Sure.
And like, I think that was money that was invested in my future and my life. I truly don't know that I would be alive if I hadn't gone.
Yeah, at least you still had money to do that. Shit,
yeah, it was like my whole,
as fuck when
it
I
was
went
my
to
whole
rehab.
savings. Yes.
Someone had to pay for me. I was like, all right, you want me to go? You got to pay.
Yeah. I truly think that that's like I'm so stubborn. Like I think that that's the only way it would have clicked for me. If I had to do it like all by myself, if it was my decision, I was completely responsible financially. You know, I think if there had been any other set of circumstance, I don't know that it would have really took hold like it did.
I mean, when you're painted into a corner of addiction, it seems like everybody's story, that's where it sticks, is when they're making the decision to go.
Absolutely.
Right? Where it's not forced upon them. They're not.
It's nobody else's idea.
I mean, even interventions, which I think are good, you know, but when the person is like, I not want to, I need to go.
Yeah.
I have to go. Mm-hmm. That's when it always seems to take that turn for the better.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
But you're leveled up because you paid for it. You did everything. So you were like,
I was very committed.
I'm knocking this out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was investing in myself for sure. That's how I very much look at it. Like I invested in my future, and I'm super glad. But I feel like there's a question you asked that I didn't fully answer. There was something you said that I wanted to. Let's just keep going.
You forget I'm the moron of the group, so like that fleeting thought just went, and it might come back to me.
Okay,
was it the goalpost? No, you kind of answered.
No,
that.
you answered the goalpost.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. So it ends up going to vodka at the end, which also seems to be like the move.
The move.
For a lot of alcoholics.
Yeah,
like,
let's just get there quick,
like,
buddy.
I need that right now. So as far as, so you mentioned COVID, because we've had several people say that COVID was where a lot of turns took.
Where a lot of people relapse too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of relapse.
Where we lost a lot
too.
of people, and a lot of people took turns. Mm-hmm. So, you know, what about COVID?
I don't know that it was COVID necessarily for me, because especially in the space I was in Oklahoma City, people were still very active. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah. Was it maybe that you didn't know so many people there?
That was it more than anything.
Yeah, I think because you were saying like in Austin, everybody knew you. Right, so when you went out, didn't really matter how fucked up you got.
Yeah,
you
someone
got
would
home
always
safe
make sure I
and this
got
and that.
home. There'd be somebody.
But when you go to another place, because I know during my addiction, one of the things that took me to start gambling is because I would be so lonely sitting at home.
Yeah.
Right, I would go to the strip club, stay out all night, get back home at 2, and I'm high, I'm wide awake.
Right.
And I got to be at work at 8. But what am I going to do from 2 to 8? I'll just go gamble. So I'd go and sit in those little gambling rooms.
Yeah.
And lose all of my money. And then I'd travel into work, not sleeping or anything.
Yeah.
But that was where my gambling addiction definitely started. Because I would be at 2 a.m, there's not many people I can call to be awake.
Exactly.
Right? So I was just like, well, look, I know in the gambling room, there's going to be people there. So I'll just go there. That's where my gambling took all of my money.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so probably when you went to Oklahoma, you just didn't know anybody.
I just didn't know
It wasn't
anybody.
the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't the same.
And kind of the same thing. Like I'd be up late, and I did kind of like end up making friends with people, the underbelly of Oklahoma City, I guess, you know, people who were wanting to stay up late with me and do those kinds of things. But it was just very hollow.
Right. So going into rehab, you were one and done with rehab?
Yeah. I had one rehab experience.
Where'd you go in rehab? Was it in Texas?
Yeah, Fullbrook.
Oh, okay. You said Kerrville.
Yeah, in Kerrville. Yeah.
Nice.
So I had tried once prior to this to get sober. When I very first moved to Oklahoma City and I was like so alone, I went out drinking by myself. And again, I would do that all the time in Austin, but I would run into people, so I didn't feel so lonely.
Right.
Well, here it was like very clear, like, girl, you're alone. What are you doing by
You're
yourself
just out
here?
getting drunk
all
by
by
yourself.
myself, just drinking away.
Yeah. So I would go to like Cheesecake Factory or
Yeah.
like this is more normal. No one will suspect me here, and then I'm blackout at Cheesecake Factory. So I ended up getting kicked out of a Cheesecake Factory, actually.
Wow.
Yes, that was a low. And whole series of events that made me like think, okay, I probably should try AA. So alcoholism does run in my family, and my mom was like, why don't you just go to a meeting? So I go to my first meeting. Someone had mentioned like, I don't remember. Oh, okay. So I wasn't a yoga instructor yet, but I was doing hot yoga, traditional hot yoga in Oklahoma. And I meet this guy. I tried to go to a meeting in the afternoon, and at the meeting, it wasn't in existence any longer. But there was someone sitting outside of it, and it's a guy that I knew from hot yoga. So he was like, hey, the meeting that you really should go to is this like 7 a.m. at such and such place. And so I go, and it's all men. It was all men.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking like 100, like 100 men. And then I was just like, is this an all man meeting?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to do. And it was my first meeting ever. So I was just like terrified.
Yeah, that's got to be uncomfortable, especially for your first meeting.
Yeah. And they're like, is anybody like brand new here? And I'm like, me. And I'm like, are girls supposed to even be here?
Yeah, everybody has scratched the record.
See, that's the difference. If you're a guy and you go to your first meeting and there's 100 women, it's like, that's where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm fucking in. But as a girl, it's like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
No, I
Terrifying.
was like,
Yeah.
So
No wonder
There
it
were-
didn't stick.
I have to be honest. I think that AA culture is different everywhere, and
Right.
you have to find the place that really works for you. And I'm so grateful that I did find places like that in Austin. Again, I do think that rehab really helped me build a foundation to understand my sobriety better, so I know more what I need. But yeah, in that moment, so I was sober, I think, for like 3 months. I did 90 and 90, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Got this
I
shit.
made it.
Solid, all done.
Yeah.
I'm not really an alcoholic because I couldn't relate to anyone there. What am I supposed to relate to with a bunch of like 50? I mean, not 50's not that old, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
50 to 75-year-old men. Some are young men, but they're, and like in that meeting, I felt like people didn't really share very like intimate details. And
Yeah. So this is before you went to rehab.
this is before. So I did try
Okay.
one time prior, like actively try to get sober, and failed at that. So I will say that I think that, for mitigating circumstances, there are some people who truly just need that immersive experience of rehab. I think that some can just...
I needed it.
Yeah, exactly. Some, and I don't mean just, but some can go to AA and feel fulfilled in that.
Right.
And there are others like us who need to really just be in it for 30 days and have... where I went, there's a lot of trauma-informed therapy as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, when I first tried to get sober, I think I made it 60 days. And I was just going to meetings. And there was no community. I wasn't introducing myself. I wasn't doing any, I didn't even know what the steps were whenever I went to rehab. And they brought the big book out. I had went 60 days sober and going to AA meetings like twice a week. I don't even know what they were talking about when they talked about the big book.
Yeah.
But I thought, I can do this on my own. And maybe some people can. And I remember on my 60 days, I've said this on this podcast before, I called my drug dealer and I was like, hey, coming over. It's time to celebrate. Just made it 60 days. And he told me, and I told him before I got sober, I said, hey, look, if I ever call and say I'm coming to get something, remind me I'm about to lose my daughter. And he told me, he said, hey, you can come through, but remember, you're putting your daughter on the line. And that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it was already in my head that I was coming. And I told him, don't do that. I said, I'm either coming there to get something or I'm going somewhere else. Because I've already beat this. I'm just going to do this night. And I'm good.
This is just a fun thing. I'm doing this one other time.
This is to prove myself right. And that was in 2018, and I didn't get sober until 2022. So that was 4 more years that it took me out from that one night. And I got high that night, and I did make it the next day until the next day, and then it was every day from there. Yeah. I couldn't stop.
I can't remember the exact trajectory when I relapsed that first time. But yeah, it was kind of the same thing. It was Halloween. And I was like,
let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, time to celebrate.
Yeah. And I was like, whatever.
I got a mask on. Nobody knows me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, whatever. And to your point, there was no community. There was no big book study at all. I mean, I think it was
no fellowship, no nothing.
No fellowship. And yeah, I was kind of just, I think in that moment, just hiding in my apartment for 90 days in retrospect. I wasn't out living in the world. I was just kind of bare knuckle in my apartment. I'm not drinking,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I did it. So back out again we go.
Yeah.
And I think I was out again for 2 years or something like that. Yeah. Before I really.
So how long was that before you had the moment where you were like, I'm going to rehab?
I think it was about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that was right at the start of when I lived in Oklahoma, and then going to rehab was right at the end. Because I knew also that I wanted to move back to Austin. And I was like, I can't move back a mess. I need to move back healthy.
Yeah.
And this is the only way I know how to be healthy.
And I need a good foundation too.
Exactly. I want a strong, which I feel I do have, a strong foundation for my sobriety so that I can go live in the world. I don't think that being sober is to be sitting in your room hiding away or only sitting in meetings. I think that the essence of sobriety is that now when I'm out, I get to be my full brightest self in any circumstance. I can go where any free man can go. You know?
That's a great point. When I started this time, when I got out of rehab, I was going to 3 meetings a day, right? And one of my buddies that's not in the program, he was asking hey, what are you doing this weekend? I said, well, Saturday I'm going to this meeting, and then Sunday. And he said, do you really have to go to that many meetings? And I was probably 4 or 5 months sober. And I said, well, I what do you mean? And he said, well, did you get sober just to go to meetings all the time? He said, because I think there's a bit, if you have to go to meetings, go to them, right? But you figure it takes 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes to get home. You're at a meeting for an hour. That's 2 hours, and you're going to 3 of them a day. That's 6 hours out of your day that you're finding meetings and going and do all this. He said, didn't you get sober to just enjoy life?
Yeah.
And that was the day where I was like, you know what? He's got a really good point. So I started cutting the meetings down, and I still go to meetings now. I just don't go to them every single day.
Yeah.
And I go to them when I feel like I'm not spiritually fit. That's when I go to meetings.
Same.
I'm not on the good level with God today.
Right.
I need to go to a meeting.
Yeah. When I'm in my resentful space, when I'm like you're saying, not spiritually fit. I think that is always a space I'm so grateful for. And I know I can go there and like find a conversation that I will relate to and hear a story that I will relate to. But the essence of sobriety is that we get to live.
Right.
So many people die from this. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
So going into rehab, I want you to talk a little bit. Did you have to go through withdrawal from alcohol?
Okay. That's what I wanted to tell you. So it was around my birthday, and my plan was that my family was coming into town for my birthday, and then I was going to go visit my brother in San Francisco, and then I was going to go, my birthday's April 13th. I was going to go May 1st to rehab, and I was going to drive myself. Well, because I knew that there was an end date, I was just like, balls to the wall, let's freaking go. And my youngest brother lives in Dallas, and I'm super, super close with him. He's like my best friend in the world. And he came in for my birthday, and I like completely blew him off. I was so wasted. I said I got him a hotel room. There was no hotel room.
No.
I was nowhere to be found. He was like, "Where are you?" Like I was just like out. Like I don't even really remember where I was, honestly. But I was out. I was partying. I was like too busy.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. Figure it out yourself. I'm like, you're grown.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of like, I think for my parents, that was like a huge cry for help. Which is funny. I feel like there was a lot of things along the way that were a cry for help, but it doesn't matter how we get there. It matters that we arrived. And so my parents were like, wow, she would not blow him off like this. Like, this is serious. Like, she's a mess. And so they show up. We're supposed to go to this like really nice birthday dinner. And my mom said, gives me cold chills. My mom said, there's been a change of plans. And I just like broke down. I was just sobbing. And I remember saying to her, like, I wish I was different. And she was just like, I know, we're going to take you. It's going to be okay. And I'm so grateful. Thank God they were able to drive me there. It was like a 2-day drive. I mean, I was living in Oklahoma City. Like I said, we had to stay the night in between one place. And yes, I was going through really horrible withdrawal. And at that time, like I didn't really want to tell my parents like how deep I was into this thing. Like, even though they knew I was going to rehab, I think they still just didn't fully grasp. And so I'm like sweating through the sheets at night, shaking, losing my mind. And they're kind of just like, what's wrong with you?
Turn the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so, to my understanding, benzos and alcohol are the two withdrawal symptoms that can actually kill you.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I'm lucky I didn't die.
Right. That's what I'm saying is like white knuckling alcohol withdrawal.
There's been many moments
Like
I should have died, honestly.
You're supposed to be weaned off of that, and it sounded like you were just deep in there around your parents, people you don't want to know how bad you are.
Yeah, you're hiding it for sure.
Oh, right. And so that whole drive down, I mean, it was miserable. I think my mom was still in a space where she didn't really have a lot of empathy. She was just super angry with me. And so she's kind of there like really hammering
This is
at
what
home.
you get.
Yeah. And
That's what my mom would have been like. Fucking hope it feels good.
Yeah. Dumbass. Yeah.
Sweat it out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like in the back, like falling to pieces.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just so super grateful they were able to come get me.
And how long do the withdrawal symptoms last?
Well, I will say that I sweat through my bed like that the whole 30 days I was there.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Every single night. Had to wake up halfway through the night and like change out of my clothes. I was dripping sweat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
30 days?
30 days, yeah.
When did you start feeling back normal?
I feel like I started feeling normal maybe after like 10 days. Like I feel like 10 days in. Again, I was super committed to this deal. So I was terrified, like scared, spitless, shaking as I walked up. But I was just like, kind of like what we were talking about with my mom. I mean, my parents are serious.
Yeah.
My family's serious business. They're like, look, buddy.
Yeah.
This is one and done. Also, I don't know that I could ever afford it again. Like there are so many things that were going through my mind of like, all right, you got to really take this seriously. You got to buckle down and you got to make sure that this sticks. And so, I was terrified. And I think probably the first week for sure, just kind of
a blur.
And also like, I'm realizing now, like slipping into like patterns of behavior that are so typical of like addicts or alcoholics, you know, like trying to, I don't know how to describe it, like trying to focus on anything else, be like, oh, I don't want to get fat while I'm here or something like that, you know, just like, and these girls being like, we're not responsible for you. You're accountable for yourself. And then these are like the first time I'm like hearing these words said to me this way, like, wow, I'm responsible for myself here. Like there's no one to blame. There's no one to pick up the pieces. There's no one to hold my hand and make sure I get home. Like we're not accountable for you. You're accountable for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still just blown away at the 30 days of withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy
That's
to
a
me.
long time. I think for meth it's probably like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For me, I would always get really depressed. Like I could get like 5 and 6 days sober. And then once the depression part kicked in to where I'm having suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know how to fix this. I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
And I would always go back to it. And I'm so grateful that I went to rehab, because I don't think if I would have tried to do it without rehab, if I didn't have a safe place to go where I could just be me, no phone, no accountability, like not having to worry about work, not having to worry about bills, not having to worry about anything, just worry about fixing myself, I wouldn't have been able to get through the depression part.
But it was a tribe around you too.
And that's what I was about to say. Having 11 good guys around me, that some of them were going through it worse than I was because they were coming off of heroin and fentanyl. So I was having to kind of almost like take care of them too.
Yeah.
While they're sweating and while they're not being able to sleep and things like that. It was, if I didn't go there, I don't think I'd be sober today.
Yeah.
It would be it would have been very, very hard just because of the depression when it starts kicking in.
Absolutely.
Now, I didn't start feeling normal again until about 6 months as far as like my sleep. Like I slept when I would go to work, go catch a meeting, and then I was in bed by 9 o'clock and I would sleep until 7 the next day. Because I had been up for 10 years so much.
Yeah.
So I had to catch up all of my sleep.
Wow.
And my eyes didn't come back to normal colors until about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where it was the worst for me, was just like, man, I don't know how long it's going to take for me to feel normal again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because I had a bunch of childhood trauma that I had to work through, and I had been honestly suicidal as a child. Like there was just some really dark memories that I had suppressed really deeply and didn't even remember until I was about like 33. And so working through all of that, again, I just think that there's no other space that would have been available for me. Like rehab was pretty much the only option, because it was like you're doing intensive therapy 2 to 3 times a day. You're doing group work therapy, and then you're studying the big book. So it's like you're building so many foundational things. And so I started to feel more myself working through that. And also, I don't know, I guess like I was just so focused on like getting like, I almost like didn't think it through. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just so in it that I like had no time to not feel myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even remember like there being a distinct moment where I'm like, oh, I'm Devin again. Cause I just feel like it was like, go, 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 you know, like we're going to knock this out. We got to figure this out.
Childhood trauma is weird too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like and I say it from this standpoint. So I was watching a show, and it's called The Keepers. You should watch it.
Okay.
But these ladies were traumatized in a school, and they didn't even start getting their memories back until they're like old ladies.
Right.
So I think we were talking with somebody about like statute of limitations and stuff on crimes for trauma.
With Elaine.
Miss
Texas.
Yeah, Miss Texas. So she had a very similar thing happen. And it's weird how many people I've talked to that have like just blocked.
Yeah, and the body always keeps the score. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it will manifest. It will manifest in illness. It will manifest in addiction.
Yeah.
It will manifest in all of these.
But it will come back to you.
Oh, absolutely.
The block or whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
It will unblock and the dam will bust.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so.
And that's kind of the year. Yeah. 33 was the year when I like started to get some of these memories back. And then 36 is when I ended up going to rehab.
Okay, so you got them back before you went to rehab.
Yeah, and then I was like, this is something I really need to work on. I had no idea how. I did not have the tools.
So when they came back, did your drinking intensify?
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
100%.
It intensified. And
because it was like, fuck these memories.
Yeah, fuck these memories. Fuck how I feel.
Yeah.
Fuck this experience. I don't know how to be different. I don't know how to feel different. And I think that's what's really beautiful about rehab and AA and trauma-informed therapy is that it gives you the words and it gives you the tools, because so much of trauma, no one's to blame. Like, what can we do? We don't know. None of us have been here before. And in this moment, I'm speaking of like my family and I, we've never been here before. What do we do? And I mean, we just didn't have the tools, you know what I'm saying? So like to be given the tools to like understand myself better. But what I was going to say is that was a huge part of my drinking, that I would feel like so much shame, so much embarrassment, be very depressed, and then have a couple days where I'd like go do something for myself, feel a little bit more clear-headed, and then feel happy again, and then be like, oh, I'm going to drink. And so without rehab, I definitely don't think that I would have been able to stay sober on my own, because there would have been that cycle of feeling depression, feeling shame, feeling regret, drinking more, blacking out, abstaining for a time due to shame, and then the cycle repeating because, oh, I've got a few days of clear-headedness, and now I'm like, oh, I'm fun again.
Yeah, and you might not have had the space to work through that.
Yeah.
Right? The safe space to be able to work through that, or even if you really would have wanted to work through it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's the thing.
That's the other thing is with trauma, like, fuck, let me try to forget this again, right? I don't really want to work through this. I don't want to have to deal with this. There's a reason I forgot it. So let me try to forget it again, right?
Yeah,
and then it keeps coming back, and maybe even worse.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things about, and like the program itself, is if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to work through the program, like it will bring these things up that you never thought were such a big deal.
Yes.
That are a huge deal. And it gives you a way to work through them. And it gives you the tools, like you said, to be able to, okay, now I know how to actually go through this in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
Rather than in a non-healthy way.
Yeah, because it's like you're remembering this version of yourself that you don't want to be any longer. And then you're like, what do I do? Oh, I know. I can drink and be this different version of myself, which is theoretically fun until it really, really isn't fun.
Yeah.
And then, back
Rinse
at
and
it again.
repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
So in rehab, I'm assuming 12 steps. 12-step program.
12-step heavy, no phones. We had one call a week. I think I'm just like a huge proponent of like, if you're going to go to the hardcore ones.
Go.
That's how ours was. It was no phone. You got 30 minutes of calls on a weekend, on one day.
Exactly. And it was supervised.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Supervised.
It was always a cry fest for me, especially when I talked to my little one.
Oh,
It's terrible.
Yeah. So no books or reading allowed aside from the big book, the Bible.
Was yours co-ed or just women?
Just women.
So yeah, I'm a huge believer in that.
Oh,
Mine
absolutely.
was only men.
There's no way.
If I would have went to a co-ed one,
I would have been performing.
I would have tried to wife up everybody.
It would have been performative. And I just knew I needed to be so real. Like I needed to let all my guard down, my mask down, all the things that the shields that I had put up in the world to protect myself from the pain that I was feeling. I needed to be able to just truly, in a space where I'm not concerned with how I look. I'm not concerned with, does this guy like me? You know, it's just like normal to like have those feelings.
To find yourself.
Yeah, I think it's very imperative to be in a space where you're just with people of your same sex.
Yeah. Well, the as far as the 12 steps go, I ask a lot of people this, but what do you feel like was the hardest one to work for you?
Oh my gosh. I think, I mean, step 4 is a toughie. Like, I think it's amazing. And I honestly feel like everybody could benefit from a good step 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be very honest. Again, like super, super truthful. I think to be successful in this program and successful in sobriety, you have to be super truthful. And that starts with yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to really like dig deep into some of the ways that you have impacted your own demise.
Yeah. So do you sponsor anybody?
I don't. So I'll be honest with you. I haven't completed all the steps.
Okay.
Yeah. I got to like step 8 in rehab. And then when I got out, I do love the steps. I don't want it to seem like I'm like poo-pooing it.
I haven't went through all of them either. I went through them in rehab, and then I started again, and I'm at step 9, and I've been there for a minute.
Yeah. So right now I don't even have a sponsor. I'm not saying that's the path for everyone.
Yeah.
I just really feel like I built this super strong foundation for myself in rehab, and I'm not trying to. I want to stay humble there. I don't want to be like, I'm good forever.
Yeah.
But I do truly believe that the purpose of rehab and even AA is that you get out in the world and you live. So for me, I'm very busy in all these healthy ways. And I'm a yoga instructor. I do a lot of yoga and I have a lot of friends. And so, yeah, I think that, I don't know that like this having a sponsor and having like working through all the steps and that being like the main focus is for everyone. I think that I think they exist for a reason, and I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And
controversial take from Devin. I like it. We're doing controversial. No, but I like, you're not the first person to say that. You're not the first person who we've had on. There's been quite a few that have gone down that seem very successful, and it's very alternative in the way that they choose to do it.
Right.
It just works for them, right?
Correct.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that I'm not really going to advise someone one way or the other. I think that the steps are a beautiful suggestion, and I would always suggest the steps to people, and I would suggest meetings for sure. And I think, again, that's one of the most beautiful spaces that exist for an addict or an alcoholic, because there is no other place where people understand you that same way. The love that you feel in those rooms, it's incomparable.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else like it.
Well, that's what I was about to say, and they're available. They're available to you at any time.
Yeah. But there's not going to be someone who truly can know me.
Right.
Like Mike can know me.
100%.
It's just not possible.
Right.
And that's why I'll always go back to the rooms, but I'm not going to live there.
Right.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
When I feel like I need to go, or if we're at work, I have a rule that if anybody ever says, "Hey, you still go to meetings?" Yes. But maybe I should catch one with you sometimes. We're going tonight.
Yeah.
Like
that's
if
a great rule
you're
of thumb.
reaching out to me, or if somebody reaches out to me and says anything about going to a meeting, as long as I don't have my daughter, we're going tonight.
Yeah.
Let's go tonight. Because I always feel like that's a call for help.
Yeah. Agreed.
And especially like a tiptoe away call for help. Like maybe we should go to one sometimes. No, what are you doing tonight? Let's go tonight.
Yeah.
That's one of my big rules.
People are looking for a safety net, though. Like, and a good one, though. I don't mean that in a negative way, but when somebody comes to you or you in that
space,
manner, they're like, I want to go. I just feel uncomfortable going. I would feel a lot more comfortable if you were there.
For sure. I would never deny going to a meeting with someone.
Yeah.
I would rearrange to be able to go. If someone said, "Hey, I really would love for you to see me get my chip," or like, I'm really feeling like I need a meeting right now. I'm like, let's go. Let's do it.
Big deal.
Yeah.
100%. Because I think that is like special. Like they trust you enough to ask you.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the core tenet of like AA and sobriety.
One of the things we're taught.
Yeah. You
Kinda
gotta
pay it
help.
forward. Yeah.
You gotta help.
Yeah. Pay it forward if you want to stay sober.
Yeah. 100%. I would never deny going with someone to a meeting. But for me personally, like I definitely I get my chips and I try to go once a month. And I know I should go more. But the time frame that I love.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, the time frame I love, I teach a lot during that time.
How long have you been sober?
3 years.
Yeah, so about the same time as I probably go once a month now too.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing that sucks with the meetings is after you go a year, you don't get many chips anymore. It's like every 6 months.
I know.
And then after 2 years, it's every year. I'm like I think your first year you should get one every month.
Yeah.
I wish they would change that to where you get one every month.
It would incentivize.
It's a big fucking deal. You know, because once you get to 3 months, getting from 3 to 6,
it's tough.
that's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Especially when you've only been sober for 90 days
Be a hell
in the
of a
last
domino,
10
though.
years.
It'd be a hell of a domino to
Exactly.
start crumbling. Because then I could make an argument that somebody in their first 30 days should get one every fucking day.
Well, you can.
Like,
You
you
can get a
get the
24-hour
desire
chip, baby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
When I first went, I didn't know that
chip.
I was picking one up every day, a 24-hour chip. Fuck it, give me one.
yeah,
Yeah.
but,
I had
but
all
that's
kinds of 24-hour
that's
chips.
where somebody who hasn't been sober in 24
or
hours.
somebody that is making the decision to stay sober for the next 24 hours.
that you have the desire, that you have the
Okay.
willingness, that you are like in this moment. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's,
necessarily.
it's just not for newcomers.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
They were
that
throwing
one.
some knowledge there.
Hey, yeah.
Me and Devin throwing some more knowledge out
All
there.
right.
I got one every meeting I went to. I'm like, I want one.
Yeah.
want
No,
one.
I know. Sometimes
Yeah.
I want one just to be like, yeah, I'm really in it
Especially
today.
when the guy's giving them out and nobody's gone up there for the 2 years, 18 months. And he's like, anybody else? I'm like, fuck it, I'll take one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you had that happen one time.
Yeah.
In one of those meetings where it was just like, everybody 3 years. Shit.
2 years.
2
Nobody.
years.
No one.
18 months. And then somebody finally stood up at 1 year and you were like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I went to sober living right after rehab.
How long did you go to rehab?
1 month.
You went for 30 days.
Yeah, I went for 30 days
Mm-hmm.
and then I was in sober living for 2 months. I don't have like the best things to say about sober living. I've got to
Yeah.
be really
A
honest.
lot of people don't.
I think it's a bit of a scam. I do.
More controversy.
So I've heard good ones. And like Destiny was in one.
Okay.
And it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It was, I won't say the name on it, but
Yeah.
she's in there in like, if they call an emergency meeting at 1 a.m, you have to show up. Like
Yeah.
if she has a night, if she has a stay out night and she's staying here and they call an emergency meeting, she has to leave here and drive 40 minutes to go there. It was insane.
That's
and they had
crazy.
stupid meetings for everything. And she was in one where there wasn't a house manager. So they all kind of like took their,
Oh my God.
like everybody just had their own little job. It was insane. I've seen the
That sounds
ones where there's
crazy.
a house manager where it's a lot better.
I was in one where there was a house manager.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just think it's like 12 people living in a 3-bedroom house and each person's paying $2,000.
Oh, that's an expensive one though.
yeah, that's a lot.
He was in a bougie one.
That feels like a scam.
That's I wouldn't.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
But
paying
that-
for a bunk bed.
most of
I'm
my
paying-
people were paying like $400 or $500 a month. He was in a nice house.
Yeah, I mean, but
Was it?
was it? Because
Yeah.
so I ended up getting kicked out. I they wanted me to stay. Well, they wanted me to stay forever because they
$2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Fuck shit. You can move in this extra room over here. Shit. We got
right.
Yeah,
they
I
wanted
want
me
my
to stay
own
Come on
forever.
in. You ain't got a curfew. Shit.
Right. And the thing about sober living, I don't regret most things regardless, but I will never regret going. I think it was great accountability, especially in that first month back in Austin to have the,
It might have helped.
it did. It
sure.
still 100% helped
Yeah.
me. I think everything along this path has helped. I don't really view many things as being unhelpful.
An obstruction.
Just reflecting on it though, and
yeah.
Yeah.
I would still go. I'm not saying I wouldn't repeat
go to
the
a different one.
experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one I went to, they wanted me to stay forever, like I mentioned. After about 2 months, I was becoming aware that maybe, I'm good on this.
Yeah.
Some of the people there like needed better understanding on how to like live.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I know how to do laundry, dude. Like
Yeah.
Right. That you know how to pay bills.
I
you know how to wash your
do-
dishes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, also,
some
I'm
people
grown.
literally don't know how to do that shit
Right.
when they go to
Absolutely.
sober living.
And I think that's also a great experience to have. I'm there with 21-year-olds. I'm there with 19-year-olds.
Right.
I'm fucking 37 years old. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. So I think it's good in that sense. And I think that is what like is a great equalizer of like addiction too. Is that okay? We have this shared experience and we can be any age. So I'm not discrediting that part, but yeah, that many people in such a condensed space. I know for sure that rent wasn't that expensive, so they're absolutely turning a profit.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you're supposed to have like all these tools available to you and therapists and all these things, and they weren't really available. And after about 2 months, I was like, I'm realizing that I think I'm good. I'm ready to go be in an apartment by myself. And I was very respectful about it. I didn't like run away or anything like that. I gave them notice, which was a mistake in hindsight. And yeah, they ended up kicking me out 2 days early, like 2 days before I was set to leave. And I just think that is almost criminal.
Yeah.
Imagine that you are really, really struggling and you have 2 days where they were like, get out now. So they come, they sit you down and they're like, get your stuff.
They probably had someone want your bed.
It wasn't really a space like that.
No?
No, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, but 2 days really.
Yeah. It's a.
They knew the day I was supposed to move out, and they kicked me out 2 days early. And if I were a different person, I mean, that could make someone relapse.
Yeah.
That could definitely put somebody in the you know.
For all intents and purposes, I was living in my car in that moment, but
That's what I was going to say, especially if you didn't have anywhere to go.
I had nowhere. I luckily, very luckily, had a friend that let me go stay at their place. But I mean, that was an extenuating circumstance. That's not going to be the typical circumstance for a person.
Imagine if you were in a different state that you went to rehab and then to sober living, and you don't know a motherfucker there at all.
Yeah.
And
I
then
had
all
my
of a
whole
sudden it's
life packed in my car.
Yeah.
And they're like, figure it out for
See
2
you
days.
later.
I see why you hold the
Grudge?
opinion of
I do.
sober
I hold
living
A little bit.
that you do.
Fuck 'em.
I get it. I get it.
You know, when I got out of rehab, they were trying to put me in sober living, but I have my daughter.
Yeah.
Right? So, and obviously, I'm not bringing my daughter around 12 other guys, right? Nor would my daughter's mother ever fucking allow that, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
So they were really big on trying to get me to go. You should really think about sober living. And I'm like, I have an apartment. I already have somewhere to go to, and I'm not breaking my lease. I literally just signed it.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So it wasn't an option for me. Now, if I didn't have my daughter, I might have thought about it just to get around another good group of guys, because for another 30 days. But like, there's some people that stay there for years.
Oh, I know.
And I'm not saying nothing bad about them. Just in my opinion, you have to get out there and live, like what you said. You have to get out there and figure out, like, can I do this? One.
Yeah.
And do I have can I do this on my own?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
absolutely.
and so much.
Again, goes back to living life
Yeah.
sober, right?
100%.
Out there living life, doing normal things,
Yeah.
sober.
Well, and when I decided to go too, they were trying to convince me to stay. And I was like, no, I'm good. I signed a lease, whatever. They ended up emailing my parents, like conflicting statistics. My mom was so offended. She was just like, this is absurd. You're, again,
they're tattling
grown.
on a 37-year-old.
You're grown. She's like, I don't know what they expect.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Hey, by the way, your 37-year-old daughter is about to skip out of here. You might want to make a phone call to her.
And they gave her like conflicting statistics of like success rates based from what,
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I was like, wow. So I do have a little bit of
A grudge.
Grudge.
a little bit of a
A little
grudge.
resentment. Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
All
okay.
right, that's all right.
But again, I don't take it back. I think I would do it all over again, 100%. I think it was further cement in the foundation
Nice.
of this beautiful sobriety that I have.
So talk about it today. What is so you're a yoga instructor. You were telling me.
So yeah, again, I was reflecting on like, when did I start to feel myself again? And I felt like everything was just like boom, boom, boom. So I moved back to Austin my dad and I, we had like one day to go back to my apartment in Oklahoma City. It was like going into like a war zone. Like the air felt weird in there. Like I was just like, ooh, I don't even want to like look at this place.
The memory's trapped.
Yeah. It was just like icky. I was like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, there's a ghost in here.
There's a ghost.
And it's me. It's my former self.
My shriveled, sweaty self.
My shriveled, booze-induced ghost of Devin past.
Yeah, exactly. So we grab all my stuff. We come to Austin. He like basically like drops me off here. And right away, so I'm there. I'm in sober living for 1 month. I'm doing what's that called? Dang it, I'm forgetting the terms. Where you go. That is another thing that's good about sober living, though. I will say they like make you do
chores, go look for a job,
like the outpatient thing. What's it called?
like the therapy or what?
No, not therapy. It's like further like big book study, basically. It's like
intensive out. Is it IOP?
IOP, yes,
Okay,
it's intensive outpatient. So you still have to keep up with that. So then you have a whole month of intensive outpatient as well.
You definitely have to find your AA groups and your groups that you click with.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that they're clicky, but you know how like when we go to Westlake, everybody knows each other.
Yes.
Everybody likes each other. We go and eat, and there's 15 or 20 of us that go eat afterwards. Those are the kind of meetings that I need.
Absolutely.
I don't need to just go to a meeting just to go to a meeting and then not be able to talk to people afterwards.
Right.
Especially early in sobriety.
Yeah.
And I want to go fellowship with you.
Absolutely.
Right?
The fellowship aspect is so important.
It's huge. I go to Heroin's Anonymous on Friday nights. I'm not a heroin addict.
Yeah.
But they fellowship every single Friday night, and I love it because there's like 20 or 30 people that go.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite meetings I go to now, that we go play pickleball for 2 hours after until midnight at a bar where nobody's drinking. We're just outside playing pickleball.
Yeah. Of course. That's cool. Right. Yeah. So life now, it's so special. It's like, I know peace in a way that I have never known in my entire life. I think that's my baseline is peace. And in peace, there is joy. And there is sorrow. There's both things.
Yeah.
But the baseline is peace. It doesn't mean that I'm never unhappy, but I can always come back to this space of just human. Like, yeah, absolutely.
And you're a yogi.
Yeah.
I mean, like yogis are the most like happy, peaceful people I've ever been around. People who are in there, and you're instructing a class.
Yeah.
So like,
right. So I was doing the IOP, and then the second month that I was in sober living, I knew I wanted to be a yoga instructor. I've been practicing 15 years. I did my very first yoga class, hot yoga class in New York in 2008. And I'd been wanting to instruct for a while. It was an active addiction. There was no way for that to happen.
Yeah.
And so then I get sober, move back to Austin. I'm like, yes, I'm in the space that I love. And Austin's like my favorite city. And so I go take this. I'd signed up for a different yoga certification program. And I just kind of found it at random and was like, okay, I guess this will do. And I go one morning and I find a hot studio. So there's Bikram yoga is traditional hot yoga. And I find a hot studio and I go in, and it was 6 a.m. And I took Sage. And I took,
for sure.
Took Alex. I don't know if you remember her.
I remember Alex.
Yeah, so I took a couple of the girls with me, and they came. And in the locker room, there was a sign that said teacher training starting in August. And it was July at that point. And I was like,
fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
Again, I just feel truly that the universe conspired in my favor. Once I like really made the intention that like, I want to be sober. This is my life. I'm sticking with this, holding myself accountable, letting people know this is who I am. The universe rewarded me in that way. But I mean, the universe is abundant, so it's always there to always wants the best for us. But so did my teacher training. One of the most like life affirming and difficult things I've ever done.
I bet.
And was just exercising nonstop. It was 9 weeks and 300 hours. So it's just really intensive. And I was moving into my new place in that time. And I think maybe it was like a year before I really felt like, okay, okay.
I found myself.
I know myself now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something that was really big for me is when I knew that I had a drug problem, but I didn't know all the other problems that I had, right? Because I was disguising everything for so long.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that I had stopped loving myself.
Yep.
I realized I stopped caring about myself. And so I always say, like, after I have a shirt that I made, it says, I don't remember exactly what it says. After addiction, it says, find yourself, forgive yourself, love yourself, and reinvent yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe that the hardest forgiving for me was to forgive myself for wasting 10 years of my life. Yeah. Right? Because it was like, man, I would watch people where we started at the same spot here, but now you're here and I'm still down here. Right. And man, if I would have made the right choices, I could have been there or even further.
Yeah.
But then I have to remember that we all have our same path. I just wasn't ready yet.
You weren't in the space to receive it.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't there.
I sometimes reflect on that too, and I'm like, dang, I'm so impressed, with these kids that get sober when they're like 22.
You do.
And I'm like,
insane.
wow, what?
Insane.
How great.
Yeah.
You get to spend your whole 20s being the best version of you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I do. Sometimes I'm like, dang, I wish. But I just know I wasn't there. I wasn't
ready.
there.
Yep.
I wouldn't have received it like how I did.
I would have blew it all anyways.
I would have blew it all
I would have
up.
fucking wasted it all.
I would have blew it up.
anyways.
And yeah, rehab. I mean, that's the first time I ever got like a diagnosis of complex PTSD.
Yeah.
You know, and like
Yeah.
those kind of things, man, that just like makes so many things make sense.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
it uncovers all the things that you're hiding or some of the
Yeah.
things that you didn't even know.
Right.
Right. And then now it's brought to your attention.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Are you going
And
to fix it or are
right.
you not?
And that's
You know?
why I'm grateful for the term alcoholic as well. Because yes, I understand it's a label, but also words allow us to understand things better. Like language gives definition to things. And so I know it can be like a scary word. Addict can be a scary word. Alcoholic's a scary word, especially for people who aren't those things.
Right.
But it's like, for me, it's so liberating. Like, wow, that's it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that was wrong. I'm a fucking alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like, woohoo! We got to the bottom of it. Thank God. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Figure this shit out. Let's go.
We figured it out. God, now we can like get to working.
Now we can fucking
Now we
get
can
on.
work.
Now we can figure our life out.
Yeah.
Now we can
Now we can reinvent ourselves.
Yes.
And
100%.
yeah, and I think that's why I'm just very open always with the fact that I'm an alcoholic. And again, you can't unpickle a cucumber. So once you are, you are.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
great, actually.
Yeah.
Now I know.
I think it's very beneficial whenever you're open about it, right? Like, I'll tell everybody that I'm a recovered drug addict.
Yeah.
Right. And when I first was told that I was a drug addict, I was so offended. A cop told me, "Oh, you're a meth addict," and I was like, "How fucking dare you? I will kill you."
Yeah.
And then I had to, I went back to my hotel room and started smoking meth.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't have a car, I don't have a house, I don't have nothing. I'm in a hotel room smoking meth. She might be onto something.
Yeah.
Right? Now, fuck her. She's not on
No.
shit. Fuck her.
No,
She's just being
it's-
judgmental.
yeah.
Well,
she's-
that's how I felt the first time when I relapsed. I mean, that first time I tried to get sober, I just was not accepting of the terminology. I was like,
Yeah.
no way, I'm not an alcoholic. That word's so weighted. Hell no. And then later I'm like, you know what? That word's actually really helpful. Like,
Yeah. Was your idea of an alcoholic like mine as a drug addict was someone that was under a bridge?
Yeah,
homeless?
totally.
Like, that wasn't me.
Right, right.
Like,
I'm
you're
like-
talking about them.
Yeah.
You're not talking about
Yeah,
me.
it's the others.
It's the other people. Like, I am a functional.
functional.
Yes.
That was the thing. I think that because I was functioning, I was just always like, no.
Not me.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I got a question about the show Intervention, because I was obsessed with that show. I would watch it, and like the mom
I
getting
think I was too. I kind of vaguely remember that
mom
now.
getting bunny hopped by her kids in the front yard, and she passed out drunk. I don't. I honestly don't think that did wonders for people's perception of what an
Probably
alcoholic or
not.
a drug addict was.
Probably not.
I mean, because that was so like hardcore. Like when
Yeah.
you were watching those people in those places, whether they were heroin or I'd like to go back and watch them now.
Yeah.
Kind of through the new
different
lens
lens.
that I
Yeah.
have.
Well,
now.
even you described an animal. So like how it was set up, it was animalistic. Like
Yeah.
we're capturing this like animal. You said
Right.
bunny hop. Like yeah, like
yeah.
So I think that's kind of like the concept that was around. I mean, we all know that like society kind of set the tone of like what a drug
sure.
addict should look like, especially
Right.
through the 90s. So
This is your brain. This is your brain on crack. Remember that?
But it
Exactly.
looks more normal than what you would.
100%.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
way
it's-
more. It looks way more. What do they call functioning?
Yeah.
Than
Yeah.
probably 9 out of 10 people.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and
are-
people are kind of amazing. They can function doing a lot
Dude,
of
it's insane what some of them like. I could function on meth, but there's no way that I could do it on pills or heroin if I ever did heroin. Like I've took a Xanax like twice.
Yeah.
And I took like a quarter of a quarter of a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
And I was fucking out of my mind.
Yeah, I'm super allergic to like those kind of drugs. That class
okay.
of drug,
Yeah.
thank goodness.
But I've seen people just pop 4 bars Xanax.
Oh, yeah.
And be able to fucking go about their day.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that is fucking insane. There is no way I could do that.
Well, yeah, and to speak of memory, I mean,
Yeah.
those people like, whew, no memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
who
I've
knows
also
what you
seen
would do.
people that are completely fucking drunk
Oh,
that you would not know that. Like, I know that you're drunk because I've just sat there and watched you take 12 shots.
uh-huh.
But you're able to function and move. Like, my brother's a cop, and he said that it amazes him sometimes when he
Scary.
pulls people over and he has them do a breathalyzer and they breathe like 2.0 or whatever, fucking 1.8.
Yeah.
And he's like, you would never think that this person, like, I
They're
think
so
it's a waste of time that
composed.
I'm even having them blow. And they're so fucked up, but they're able to just go about it because they've been doing it for so long.
Yep. Yeah. I wasn't like that. Like,
Yeah.
I was very often
Yeah.
wasted. But like, I would still like somehow get around and do
Yeah, yeah.
things. Like, people knew I was wasted, but I was still just like out there trudging along. I'd
Yeah.
brown out. I'd brown back in. I'd be like, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
You know, just still out there.
Still
living my
here.
life. Yeah, still here doing it. But yeah, I think another thing too is like now I feel like people think, oh, you get sober and then things are like perfect or whatever. And life is still life.
Yeah,
So I mean,
for sure.
I was engaged. I ended an engagement. Like there's still like trials and tribulations and there's still heartache and there's still deep sadness.
Yeah.
But now I'm just able to manage that in a way
Feel
with
it.
such grace and feel it.
You're able to feel it. That's really what it all boils
and I
down
know
to.
how to process that.
Right.
And I have the tools now to process that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
that's a good point.
easy to process it kind of when you're sober. If you face
Ish.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if you do the work
Right,
to get
right.
there.
Yes.
And the
There's
step
no
work.
way you're gonna
and,
do it
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're wasted.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that's just before you had all those tools to feel that,
Yeah.
let it come over you and face it head on.
Yeah.
Was there something? I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, people, I used to think the same way. If I get sober, my life's gonna fucking be amazing, and it is. But there's still some days, like this month has been one of my hardest months I've ever had. Right? I had surgery. I lost 2 friends in the program, and then like every other thing because I had surgery, I can't work out. So my mental is not like working out so big to me. It's
Yeah,
such a big deal.
absolutely.
And like, there's just all these little different things that are falling. I'm like, just stay grateful, be grateful, be grateful. Right? Was there something early in your sobriety that happened that normally would have took you to go get fucked up
Yeah.
and you was able to just sit in it and deal with it and then realize, holy shit, I can do this.
100%. Yeah, I
Yes.
can recall the moment. I can recall the day.
Tell me, talk to us about that. Because I think that's such a big obstacle and a big, that's like it's
a big
chip,
moment.
That's a chip that someone should give you that you don't
Yeah.
get, right?
Yeah.
It's that memory chip. It's that piggy bank chip.
Yeah.
What was it?
So again, I'll always have such gratitude for sober living, even if I have some of my qualms. So I never stopped dating. Again, I'm not like the best AA.
Yeah.
Got to fill some time somewhere. I
Yeah.
got to get some free meals somewhere. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
I'm a cheap date. I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And I was always very honest and whatever. So I'm seeing this guy who I had seen before being sober.
And definitely we had a toxic dynamic, but I was like, well, I'm sober now. I believed it was me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sober now.
I fixed myself.
Yeah,
It's good.
things are going to be great. I mean, he even moved me into sober living, actually. So anyway, he moves me into sober living. He's like a big BMX rider. And so he has to go like on a tour or whatever.
Yeah.
And he leaves and basically just like never contacts me again. And I'm thinking that we're like,
Wow.
he fucking moved me into sober
Fucking
living.
ghosted you.
Yeah. And it was just like, he had called me from the airport and was like saying weird stuff, but he was already drunk himself. So I'm like having so much empathy for this person because I'm like, oh,
Terrible.
I went through my darkest time. He's in his darkest time.
Yeah.
And then, so he ghosted me basically. I don't hear from him at all for like almost a month, I guess. I was probably living in sober living for a month. Well, I run into him. I run into him out at Cosmic Coffee. And I walk up and I'm like, I won't say his name, but I'm like, oh. And then I look over and I can tell he's at a table and there's another girl there. You would have thought like I caught my husband with my best friend. But it was just like, it was so fresh, like I was just like this new person. And and I was feeling all my feelings.
Yeah.
And devastated. I mean, in that moment, I held it together. I got to the car bawling.
Yeah.
I get home to sober living. I remember I opened the door and I just like fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, what is it?
Someone
Oh my
shot her.
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
Get her. And that is 100% something I would have.
And you got through it.
And I got through it.
Man,
I've
without
gotten through-
drinking.
Without drinking. Yeah, absolutely. But no, stuff like that, I think that's like heartbreak. I mean, those are just like normal
They
things.
still hurt. I think they hurt even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
you're
now
like,
I can't get high from it.
right.
I can't
and
go
now also I think
do
there's that like aspect of, but wait, I'm my best self.
Yeah, right?
You don't love me? I'm my best self now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, that just happens. That's life. That's normal.
But now you probably move past it way quicker.
Way quicker. Yeah.
than
Again, I ended a
before.
whole ass engagement.
Yeah.
After that, not long ago actually, and I just know it was for the best. But I mean, things happen. Life happens.
Life still happens.
But I get to show up as my best version of
Yeah.
myself now, and that wasn't an option before because my brain was just so hardwired to go immediately. I can't feel this. I don't want to sit in this. I'm gonna go get wasted.
Yeah, that's a great point. I tell Destiny all the time, like, I know that I've done a lot in life, but you're getting the best version of me.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter what if I've been with this person or that person, or they got me when I was 25 or 28. They didn't get the best version of me. You are getting the best absolute version of me right now.
100%.
And I still have a lot of problems.
Always a work in progress.
I'm still a work in progress.
You're still human.
I just told her just a second ago, I'm sorry, sometimes I'm still a dick. And sometimes I am. Sometimes I still don't know what to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
And sometimes I still have to separate myself and go talk to God and tell God, please just take this one for me. Okay. But I'm still the best version. And it's the same with you. The guy missed out.
Yeah.
Missed out.
Thank you. I
Best
appreciate
version.
that.
Yeah.
Go find better. Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Go good fucking
Good
luck.
fucking luck.
That
bud.
dude is fucking miserable right now because of that decision.
Yes.
That's where we'll end this thing.
Okay.
Is right there. I think
Good
that's
fucking luck.
good
fucking
fucking luck. Bike rider guy. Fucking.
I love it.
You know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at her now. You're 2 addicts and a moron. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm done. That's so cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you. This has been amazing.
And
I really appreciate it.
you've extended a yoga visit.
Yeah. Y'all need to come to the studio.
Dude, hey, well, we got to wait for
I
his guts to
hate
get
cardio.
back in.
Hate cardio.
So my girlfriend, she really is like been talking about doing yoga and doing
Yeah,
it
she
on her
can.
own,
Oh, cool.
like at the house. And I'm like, I think it'd be better if you went and got the community sort of vibe.
I think it's great to have someone guide you.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I've been trained to do. This is,
Yeah.
And also I feel like it's my calling, you know, but I mean, of course you can do it on your own. Do it always.
But
I think it is a cool experience to be able to like have that direction from someone who
100%.
truly knows.
Me and Destiny will
cares
come.
about
We
you.
were going to do Orange Theory.
No, come
Fuck
to,
Orange Theory.
yeah. Eh.
Unless you want to sponsor us, Orange Theory.
we're
We
going.
will never say fuck you again.
And where do you do yoga?
I do yoga East Austin.
Okay,
Yeah,
yoga
yeah.
East
East Austin.
So
Austin.
I teach a couple of different styles now. I just got certified to teach a second style. I teach rocket as well. So yeah.
You can tell me space, rocket. I don't know.
I don't know.
Between any of
I
it.
just
There's
know-
so many intricacies
I just
to
know
it.
hot yoga sounds like it's going to be fucking hot.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna.
but I will say, if you're really resistant to it, you should probably lean in. That's like in yoga, I would say if it's a thing that you're most like resistant towards, it's probably for a reason. And you might want to lean in.
I'll try it. Fuck it.
Let's go. We'll do it together. Maybe
I'll wear my
Joe?
spandex.
Joe, will you come and do some camera work? Watch watch our dumbasses try yoga with you. I think it'd be great.
Funny. That'd be
That'd be
great.
awesome.
I think that'd be really
That'd be
good
funny.
footage.
That would actually be good.
We could definitely have some space in the studio.
That'd
for
be
that.
good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
As long as I don't get the sweaty in the crack of my ass.
No,
I'm good.
I want all of that. Like I want like the whole deal. So we are going to do that.
Okay, cool.
Yoga East Austin.
Yes.
We're in.
We're in.
Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
this was a
thank you,
great
guys.
episode.
How do people find you besides Yoga East Austin? Like your Instagram?
My Instagram is where am I looking? My Instagram
Here,
is
any one of them.
Right there.
There you go.
Devin. Oh, okay, yeah. My Instagram is Devin Page.
right.
And yes, I also teach at Yoga East Austin. Teach many classes there, and yeah, those are the most
There you go.
viable ways.
Well, let's go.
At
Amen.
Devin Page. Yep.
Let's go. Thank you again, Devin. This was
Thank
awesome.
you. Yay.
Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
you made it. Later, everybody.
You got to sign the wall.
Okay, yeah.
Like, subscribe, comment. Please comment. We haven't been getting a lot of comments lately because, well, I ain't gonna say why.
The comments off. Oh.
Yeah.
No. We're just let's just say we're very popular in the country of Mexico right now.
Oh, okay.
Very popular.
Yeah,
Super popular. But we're coming back. We're gonna
we're coming back.
yeah, it's US then Mexico and then the UK.
All right,
That's where we're at.
let's go.
Let's go.
Well-
Let's do it.
Two Addicts A Moron. Love y'all.
We're out.
Love y'all.